What's up, guys? Welcome to the Wednesday morning mastermind call. We do this Monday through Friday, and on Wednesday, we do it live on YouTube. Today, I wanted to talk about two reseller models that for sure work. And then I want to go over, people have requested that I go over why I'm different on stream on whatnot than I am in the morning call. And I can kind of address that because I think I have a good idea. So first, I want to talk about the two models on eBay that always work and have always worked. Number one is cheap new stuff that has always worked. Okay, like from the beginning of when I started using eBay, there was always iPhone chargers and cheap stuff for sale. And then the most recent eBay Open that I went to, they were on stage talking about how awesome eBay is because they have $1 inflatable flamingos. Okay. They have $1 free shipping inflatable flamingos. And somebody in the audience raised their hand and said, how can we make money on $1 free shipping inflatable flamingos? That's like less than the shipping charge. And our shipping isn't subsidized like from China. When they ship something over, it doesn't cost less than $1 to get it here. It's just subsidized. So the seller is only paying 50 cents and they can still make money on that type of sale. But we don't have a 50-cent shipping option in the US. So for us, the it's much more difficult, much more difficult. The same item when we sell it is like 8, 9, 12, $13, including shipping, to get the same margins as people who have offset. And this trend, and I'm not sure why it exists, but the websites Wish, Temu, Shein, they sell as much stuff as Amazon does because of that advantage they have of being able to sell stuff for under $5 free shipping. And regular people, that's all they buy, right? Walmart is way, way, way busier than Costco. Walmart's the biggest retailer still. Everybody goes to Walmart to buy cheap stuff, and they're slashing prices all day. That always works as a reseller. It's just hard because you have to scale to a really high amount of replenishables, which is a different model. Most of the people who listen to my channel, most resellers don't do that. Now, the other model that for sure works is the expensive used model. Okay, like if you have margins where you're buying stuff for 5, selling it for 30, that always works. Okay, but that's also a small percentage of resellers. Maybe only like 5 people out of 100 people who resell full time actually have $30 and above ASP. It's so rare. When Carrie was sending me her numbers showing that her ASP is over $30, that's insanely rare. I get that message once a month. People are not doing that. It's very hard. It requires basically all of your focus on sourcing. That's how you would get that. Then you have in the middle, which is 99% of resellers, sell stuff between $8 and $30 pre-owned, and they have to do all of the work and they can only make money one time or 0 times. And Isaiah asked me yesterday, how come the bins model usually doesn't work? Like you're buying stuff at Goodwill by pay by the pound for $1 or $2. How come selling it for $15 plus shipping usually doesn't work? Like the margin is huge. You're paying $1 or $2 and you get $5 to $10 profit back. How come that model is not working? And I think the reason is because 80% of that stuff doesn't sell at all. That's the problem. You have it, right? So you kill it. You have 1,000 items in your store. You sell three a day for a month, 210 sell. Now you have 790 items that never sell. You discount them to $12.99, $10.99, $9.99, delist, relist, $6.99, $4.99 plus shipping. Now you're like, oh, should I just get rid of my store? I'll just do 99-cent auction plus shipping, and I'll try to charge $9.99 shipping. And that doesn't work, then you go to $4.99 shipping, and now you're just breaking even. And I think that, sorry, the copy hasn't kicked in. When you average that all out, I actually think people average $6 plus shipping. That's my analysis of people who do the bins model. They don't lose money. They just end up only making $2, $3 a sale. Sorry, thirsty this morning, leg day. That is just so hard to make work. So here we are right now. What do we do to actually make this work? Man, out of breath this morning. Hold on one second. Um, I think that the model that works is you have to do your sourcing consistently and with the most brain power that you can. And that's really the biggest difference. How successful you are is just how good your suppliers are. And the route is so important. So I guess if we were going to talk about a mid-level call for me, because I consider what we're talking about in the mid-level call, numbers, processes, schedule, that's all my favorite part. That is mid-level too. But the difference really from getting once you can list 5 to 10 items a day, that takes maybe up to 3 years to really learn that basic part. Then if you're finding items that sell for over $30 pre-owned, you can make a full-time living. That's it. So in the beginning, you have to be patient, but I am now in the new cheap item category. That's why my revenue is so different. And it's I cannot even explain to you how much easier it is to sell a $10 new item than a $10 used item. It's not even in the same category of easy. It's so hard to sell a used item for $10. This is just $10. Okay, you got to describe it perfectly, good pictures, good return policy, good price compared to the market to get that gone. So I'm going to talk about why Whatnot Chris is different than eBay Chris. Okay, so for eBay Chris, when I did it all these years, my main thing was I want to process used items quickly. That was my idea, right? 10,000 items on eBay, try to sell 3,333 items a month, try to make $10 profit, top 1% income in America, and I only need to spend $300 a month for my anchor store. That was the idea, right? I've been selling stuff my entire life. It'd be nice to never talk to another customer again. That was my retirement from being in sales for 20 years. Okay. Talking to people every day is what I'm good at, but it's also tiring. And also, like, in sales, the most frustrating thing is when people don't show any emotion. People who just buy stuff dollars and cents. Does it make sense? It's very hard to sell anything above what the actual composition is. For example, for a lot of people, a piece of clothing is worth $2. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be Gucci, it could be Burberry, it just doesn't matter. They just see it for the value of putting it onto my body. It could have 4 holes in it. It's the same value as no holes in it. It just doesn't matter, right? That is really hard to sell somebody who thinks like that. But somebody who's into the emotion, they want to be the first to wear it. They want to complete their collection. They want to do all that. The emotional part of it makes it really fun to sell. Okay, so when you are selling something that has 10 keywords, it's a lot more fun to sell than a 2 keyword. So Jamie yesterday was talking about how to rank higher for keywords. And we were looking at Rolling Stone magazines. Rolling Stone magazine is okay, but if you have The Rock, Kevin Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, they had a pool party together, and that's on the cover. That's a lot more fun to sell. There's more emotion involved with that. Okay, so for me, if I'm selling t-shirts, the last show that I did, there were dirty t-shirts from Spencer's Tees. You guys have maybe seen Spencer's in the mall, Spencer's Hot Topic. They have graphic tees that are saucy, right? It'll, like one said, "Ew, people." Like these shirts always elicit a response, and that's the whole point of them, right? So for me, it's really fun to see what's valuable. For some person, something that's provocative, like future MILF, that's very provocative, right? That's something a young person would wear trying to get attention, or maybe an older person, whatever. But watching the customers engage with that t-shirt, right? Versus plain white t-shirt, Calvin Klein, it's very different, right? And a shirt with stripes, a skate t-shirt. Trying to see what people say in the chat. Now, yesterday I was giving training and I was telling people that work for me, the order of how you present an item is really important. What you want to do is present everything that you say on stream needs to add value. If it doesn't add value, don't say it. Never say there's nothing wrong with it. Why would you say that? It doesn't add value to the customer. The only thing they're thinking about is the word wrong, right? I would never say that when I'm presenting something. If I was selling a car, I wouldn't tell Brian, hey Brian, there's nothing wrong with this car. That doesn't do it. I think it makes Brian feel worse. I don't know if that's something that actually adds value. If there's something wrong with the car, and I were to say to Brian, hey Brian, all four tires need to be replaced on this car. It's not good. It needs to be replaced. Four bald tires. That adds value because Brian now knows the condition of the car. I wouldn't say that last though. I wouldn't say this is an awesome car. It's got brand new brakes. It's never been in an accident. It's been washed, right? And it's been maintained. The service records are immaculate. But before you buy it, I want to remind you that all four tires are bald. Remember, four bald tires. You ready? That's not, you wouldn't say that at the very end when you're trying to present the price because now all Brian can think about is the bald tires. The order matters a lot. Okay, so in the title, the words matter a lot in what order that you put them in. If you put the brand at the end, you're losing the value. At the beginning is where there's the most oomph when you present something online. The title, what it is, size is the most important. So in selling, it's the opposite. In real life selling, it's the opposite because the price comes last. You do your presentation and then they tell you the price at the very end. And you don't end with what's wrong with it. Then people, they can't pay a good price for it. You want to say this is $10,000 worth of value. Today it's on sale for $300. That's the main draw. And that gets people to do. You can build trust, explain to people, but you have to make sure that the order is the key. When you're talking to a supplier, the order matters a lot. If you say, what do you have that's valuable that I can buy for cheap? That's the wrong order. That's the last question you ask, not the first question you ask. The first question you ask is like, how's it going? What's it like selling at the flea market every single week? What happens when these things don't sell? Is there anything that you need help with? What what does your day in the life look like? What are you doing here? And you ask a lot of questions. And then you say at the very end, is there something that I can do to make that easier for you? Right. And you don't know what it is. They're going to tell you what would be easier for you, and then you could do it. So it'd be better before selling Brian a car to be like, what are you looking for in a car? What do you need a car for? Right. And yesterday I was a little bit rude to somebody, and I'm not proud of this, but this person said that they're really good at sales, right? And I had them do a presentation for me, and I'm like, not to be rude, but I know this is rude, it's like saying no offense, but like the way that you presented that shows you have no sales experience. It's in the wrong order. I don't want to buy anything from you because of the way you presented that to me. Like it makes me not trust you. It makes me, I'm not excited about the product. And I feel like you don't know anything about the product. Don't trust you, don't like the product. And it's just not, I would not be comfortable trading my money for your item the way that you presented that. And then I redid it. And she was like, oh my God, I now know. Because on Whatnot, this is so insane. And it's also available on YouTube, right? If I did a YouTube video that said, we need to talk, okay, a whole bunch of people would show up to find out what we need to talk about, right? Then if I progressively added a better topic, the YouTube live would get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because people would come and they would stay, and then you would get new people and they would stay and you get new people and stay. And that's how I look at Whatnot. If I'm on there, I want the number of people on the stream to go up more and more and more as I do it. And that's why I'll increase the value more and more and more during the stream. And that's why I'm more in my element than on this call, because this call, I'm trying to help people build their online business. I'm not as good at that as I am at building sales because I've been doing face to face my entire life. So for this, it's hard when I don't get feedback from people because I'm just sort of guessing. But people were telling me, hey, Chris, yesterday, like, okay, I have a new way of getting feedback from my workers. At the end of the day, because I pay people 100% of their tips, there's an iPad checkout sheet. Okay. So you're leaving work. You type in how much you made in tips, and you type in what went well today and what didn't go well today, right? And you hit submit and it goes into a spreadsheet. And if you don't do that, you're fired. There's a zero. Like, I'm like, your new job is to fill out this survey every day. Okay. Because if I don't know what you're doing, I can't help you. Everybody here wants to make more money. You want to make more money? I need feedback. I can go to your store and go to your stream, watch what you did, and I can help you make more money here. There's like several people who work for me who make six figures. They always ask for the most feedback. It's so helpful for someone to say, hey, Chris, last night I was trying this and it wasn't really working. And then so I'll give you an example. I wanted to sell these shoes for $30. And this one of my streamers was like, I'm not sure how to do that. I started it at $30 because I don't want to sell for less than 30. That was the amount that I need to sell them for. People aren't really that interested, and how can I make them buy it for $30 on average? So I had to go through and explain the value of what people are looking for on Whatnot. Number one, they're bored, right? For me, when I'm buying something, I can't go to Whatnot and buy it because it's not searchable. When I'm going to Whatnot, I'm looking for something to buy. I'm not going to buy something I want. So what you're really buying, in my opinion, on Whatnot is the personality of the person and their recommendation. So I just changed it to, let's start at $1 and then just have it be host pick, and the customer can switch it out one time if they don't like it. So like, they get to pick, you pick the shoe for them. So they trust you. You pick the shoe for them. Everybody watches you pick a shoe for them. And if they don't like it, they can do one switch. So just in case they don't like your pick, they can do it. And then he averaged 33, 37, 30, started getting more money for the product. And people like bidding. So starting at $1 made it easier to sell for over 30 than starting at $30, because part of the value is swiping and having fun and engaging and competing against somebody for that product, and the FOMO of missing out. So now I don't have to do that anymore. He's like, hey, he can be like, hey, last night I tried that. I tried winner's choice, I tried host pick, I tried dollar starts, and it still didn't work. What can I do now? And now I can really help you. So I feel like yesterday, you guys tell me what you think, because I've kind of leaned away from this. Yesterday, I was watching Coffee and Cars with Millionaires with Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey said that for people to remember what you say, you should be snarky. And I like, Carrie has a little bit of snark. I definitely am snarky. I just don't do it because it's public. But like, it helps people remember. Okay. And then they hopefully won't do it again. So I found this pretty interesting. The number one wealth killer in America is actually new cars. People in America love to buy new cars, but they can't really afford it, and it really puts them in a bad decision. Sorry, in a bad position, because they have this huge monthly payment and their income isn't high enough. And it made me think about how to relate that to reselling. And the number one wealth killer for resellers is just mediocre items. It's if you had a small store of good items, you would be okay. But it's just that the discipline required to do that is difficult to teach. So Nadine says it helps people remember, but you don't like being that person. So you only use snark strategically. Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hey, Chris, what do you attribute to the car thing? I mean, do you think it's a marketing thing over the years? Is it a keeping up with the Jones thing? Because I've always had cheap, I mean, not cheap cars, but like I'm not a big car guy. So, but I 100% agree with you. I know a lot of friends that have a bigger car payment than my house payment, you know? So what do you think attributes to that?
I think that currently since 2020, like since COVID, luxury goods have exploded. Everything new has exploded. So much dopamine from that instant gratification of a new car. I think that's what it is. Because you go there, you can't afford the down payment and the first payment, right? You can't afford the car, but you can afford the down payment and the first payment. And the dopamine rush of new car and the Instagram likes and the adoration of your friends and family is worth it. But like um when I was growing up, I'm from Utah. I met a couple of California Asians, and I'm like, oh my God, they're so rich. Every California Asian I meet drives a Mercedes. They're they're business owners. Like I'm here in Utah, and it's not quite farmland, but it's like the world of multi-level marketing. There's no real industry, so it's like scams and stuff. There's just no like real bit. There's a ton of real business, but it's not. It's all hidden. The stuff that's all public is all fake business. But I would like listen to people. They're like, because I grew up playing golf, and the Asian people be like, oh yeah, we own a import export or a mining company or some kind of like things I had never heard of when I lived in Utah. And then now when I moved here, now I am a California Asian. I'm here now, and now I realize that most of it's fake. Like most people cannot afford. Like this is the like I drive a Honda, and after we can come hang out at my house, but the person that has a Mercedes, we can't fit in their apartment. It is the millionaire next door thing that like if you prioritize your family and your well-being, it kind of removes the keeping up with the Joneses part. But it is really fake. In California, I feel like probably has the lowest savings rate, I would guess. People here pretty much spend all of their money. In Asia, and in most countries, the savings rate is close to 50%. In the US, the savings rate is 3%. And people in America make a lot of money, tons of money. But I don't know. But when Dave Ramsey says, if you buy a new car, you're a dumb idiot, then people remember that. But if you say, like, hey, if you buy a car that's new that you can't afford, it's probably not responsible, eh, you're not the number one talk show in America unless you call people stupid. So if I were to say, if you're buying stuff that you can sell for $12 if everything goes right, you're stupid as a reseller. You should not do that. More people would remember that. So I don't know. I've never heard anybody say that. Dave Ramsey literally said the success of this talk show is because he's snarky, because he says things that piss people off and they share it, like the baby steps. Like and paying for things in cash has pissed off more people than the thing that he said that pissed off more people than ever is you should only buy a house if you can pay cash. That is the most annoying thing to 90% of people or more, right? That made him $100 million just saying if you don't buy a house cash, you don't deserve it. That's like that's up there. Russell says he knows people with $1 million homes and barely any furniture. It is interesting because working for Lexus, the average person that buys a Lexus has a $900,000 net worth, but they buy a $50,000 Lexus. Okay, so it's like not really expensive, honestly, for them. It's like very reasonable. They make like 150,000. Their car payments like 800 if they finance. Usually they don't finance, but like um BMW though, it's not 900,000. I would bet the average BMW owner makes less than 100,000. I'm almost positive. I don't know that statistic, but I guarantee you most of those are financed. It's just to me when I look at like we joke about driving a BMW as a reseller, but it's really expensive. It's like legitimately a couple $1,000s a month for your car. That's a lot. People don't even gross $2,000 a month spend that on their car. Nadine says her neighbor just bought a $50,000 SUV. You drive a 10-year-old Prius. I mean, it's interesting. Can't drive a Prius in California anymore. Jamie.
Yeah, the thing I think is funny is all those BMWs you see driving around though, they're all the little C class. They're all like little 280s and 250i's. They're not the nice ones.
I know. That's the
People just,
worst BMW to get.
yeah, they just want that. They just want that plate. They just want their car to say BMW on it.
This is I mean, it affects younger resellers. So the younger resellers that I see out there, they'll post like a really cool find that they had at the thrift store, right? And they'll post that they put it in their C-Class Mercedes, steering wheel, Starbucks, right? Go home, Rolo printer for your one sale a day. That's the reseller flex. I mean, you have a C-Class Mercedes and a Rolo printer, you made it. But that's not that real. And that car sucks. Horrible. Rather, like unreliable, expensive, and loses 70% of its value in 3 years. Yeah. It's like $40,000 new and $16,000 used. It's like crazy how much they drop in value. But there's a lot of money in the resale business. Mercedes-Benz makes a ton of money on used cars because they make a ton of money everywhere. On a brand new car, they totally ravage people and how expensive they are. Then when they trade them in, it's worth nothing. And then they make a lot of money on service and a lot of money on interest when they resell it to somebody else who's trying to live up to the Joneses. So Jamie, it's interesting because you're in the entertainment industry, but you didn't feel the need to keep up with or maybe you did, just not with your car.
When I'm home, when I'm in Michigan and not working, I have well, I've had three cars in the last 20 years. I currently drive a 2018 Ford Fusion. It's fully loaded. It's a nice car, but I'm just not into big cars. Like I had a Volkswagen before that. But when I'm out and on tours, we always rent the nicest cars that we can get. You know, we rent Mercedes, Maybachs. We've rented Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and but that's not on my dime. I'm not paying for that. It's just when we're out on tours and on the road because that's just the lifestyle. That's how they live. Like,
You're not affected by that and go home and you want to do that.
yeah, no, not at all. Like I'm Ocho Cinco, baby.
Ocho Cinco, I love it.
Yeah. But you know, I think it's different. Like for me, I raised five kids. My youngest son is disabled. He'll be with us forever. So I have
Yeah,
a reason to save money and build something up for him. So it's never really been a priority. I mean, my kids and my family, and like I paid my first house off when I was 27. I mean, I hate having debt. Like all these smart people are like, oh, you should have a mortgage forever because of this and because of that. And maybe in some
yeah,
weird twilight zone that works. But if I get paralyzed tomorrow and I can't work again, I'd rather have my house paid off.
yeah. No, that's baby step number seven for Dave Ramsey is paying off your house and then um increasing your generosity. And I was just thinking, I because I don't I because I own all my own inventory, I'm not in a hurry. But in reselling, I guess that the difference would be financing your inventory. I don't know how many resellers do that, but it's a lot more scary when you're paying interest on it. If you own all your items outright. And yesterday during my training, since this is my year of training, I was just telling people, I don't need to get rid of anything. I just want to make a profit on the item so I can pay you and keep the lights on. If we sell less items profitably, that's okay. I don't want to sell more items and lose money. That doesn't, it's hard to get items. Let's take our time and sell them for a profit. Yeah, it's really interesting. I know that the model of new cheap works and the model of expensive used works. And also, I think that I forgot who said it. The one of the problems is that when you're on the right path, um, the results don't change very often. So, like, if Brian decides he wants a $50 ASP with shoes, that's not gonna do. It's not gonna happen for like 8 months of doing the right thing every day. The first 5 months, nothing happens. You have to have 800 shoes in your store that are $75 or best offer, and you can't do that fast. There's no fast way of doing that. So that's why people get frustrated. But if you buy something random, it could sell today for 50 or 30 or 40, but it gets in the way of a giant store of $75 or best offer. That's the problem. Yeah. But that store buys you freedom. The store of under $30, that's the forever grind. A lot of people actually message me with my save $100,000 as a reseller model. It's 5 items a day times $10 profit for 6.5 years. 5 items a day extra times $10 profit for 6.5 years. That's not the worst plan, honestly. You could do that in high school. I don't know. My kids are really young. What do you guys think? You think it's distracting for a kid in high school to do 5 items a day? I don't know. It might be because they could be doing sports or hanging out with their friends. I don't have any kids that are older, but I feel like I didn't do something that simple when I was a kid. But like I do remember having some industrious friends. I went to the 2002 Olympics with my friend Abby, and we were 17 at the time. And she told me that she had saved $60,000 by the time she was 17, just working random jobs. She's like, I make about $10,000 a year doing random jobs. It's like about 200 bucks a week. And I'm like, 200 bucks a week seems like not too hard, right? But she lived at home and she bought a cheap car and it was insane. Kim says she didn't allow her kids to work in high school. Yeah, that is interesting, right? So should you not allow your kids to work high school and college? Or should you? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different ways of looking at it, Jamie.
I'm the exact opposite. I had my
Yeah,
first job working on a farm, Andy T's farm, when I was 12. I worked there summers of 12, 13, 14 years old. I made all my kids get a job, regardless if they played sports or not. And I made them save half of every single paycheck they got.
yeah,
We bought them their first car, but it was nothing special, believe me. And so far, I have 3 kids. 2 have graduated college. The third one's in college, and the fourth one goes to college this summer. But so far, the 3 of them that have went to college, they've not had to work one day in college. They have enough money saved up to live through college, and that was the whole plan the
yeah.
whole time. And I my kids are so responsible, it's ridiculous. They're like so much more responsible than I ever was, and I love it. But I think it builds super integrity in kids when you make them do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting because if like the idea is if you don't work, you could focus on your studies. That's the counter argument usually. Um, but it might actually help a bit if they can apply some of that knowledge that they're learning to something in the real world. Um, like Natalie's ice cream shop. I feel like that's insane. I did not understand that at that age. Like, you know, like there's a difference between one ice cream scoop, two ice cream scoops, and three ice cream scoops. And for me in my eBay career, really most of my money was made on having an average order size of two. It's like where all the money was made because two items fit in a flat rate envelope that literally just made so much money compared to one item in an envelope. I was listening to a podcast with this guy that he moved to LA when he was 30 and he had a net worth of $3,000. And when he was 38, he had a net worth of $150 million. In 8 years, he went from 3,000 to 150 million. His story was he got there. The first thing he did was get the only job he could find, which is being a bartender at night. And then he met a bunch of people um, at the bar, and he liked watching college football. And he asked this guy, if I give you a team that wins, can I work for you? And the guy said, okay. So then he worked at night at the bar and then got a construction job um, with one of the people he met at the bar in the morning. So he would work like 5 to noon at the construction site. And he said he made $37 an hour, which is the lowest wage of anybody at the construction site. And he would just do all the grunt work. Then during the day from 12 to 6 or whatever, he would sleep and he taught himself programming and he was trying to become an actor. And then at night, he worked at the bar. And he did this for a couple of years and made an app to help actors get their resumes out or whatever. Made a little bit of money, and then um, somebody liked his app, and then he worked for a job, worked his way up with the job till he made $300,000 a year working at that job, one job, and then worked on the app on the side, and then. But it was like crazy how fast it compounds if you just reinvest one thing into the next thing and the next thing into the next thing, next thing into the next thing. Um, because the skills can compound. So I think as long as the skills compound, it's okay. But I've had a full-time job since I was 16. So now it's been 34 years, 24 years. And I always worked because my parents had a restaurant. I don't remember not working, at least bussing tables and taking people's orders. I used to play bridge with old people at my mom's restaurant. And I consider old 40 and over, as you guys know. But compounding is really what how it works. Kim says all three started investing very young, so they had money and savings when it was needed. It's crazy. Lisa worked from 13 all the way till retirement. Yep. But $6,000 a month for 10 years is $1 million. I heard that too. And it that affected me when I got married. So that's been my savings goal. Save at least 6,000 a month and invest it. School, sports, and work. Man, it's a lot harder to get in trouble with school, sports, and work. I know, right? Geriatric is 40. I need to think. I think that that's not a positive message. I'm trying to be more positive. So what should I be saying? 40 is the new 20. Let me see.
No, I don't think 40 is the new 20 because I was not a good person. I mean, I didn't have the same frame of mind 40 at 20.
No?
No,
Was
but
it?
I would say 40 is not your mom and dad's 40. Like I'm almost 60 and I am not my mom's. I am not nothing close to my mom. I don't have short hair. I don't wear a sweater. Um
What?
I don't have grandkids. Like I'm still working, well on eBay. Like no. I would much rather just be like 60 is not your, like 60 is the new 60 or something. I don't know what it would be, what the catchword would be, but it's definitely not like I don't even think I'm even a 59-year-old 1990s. Like I don't even think I'm a Y2K 59-year-old. Like I don't know.
Makes sense. My lives had been talking about being close to death because just because I feel like um I don't know. Last month I sold like 37,000 items, and I was doing if I was equating it to reseller years, right? And let's see. Last month, I think I sold the equivalent of what a normal reseller does in 20 years. So I just feel so old because the amount of stuff I have seen in the last month is so mind-blowing that I can't even it's like I lived an entire lifetime in the last 30 days. Atemba, good morning. Question?
Hi, hi, Chris. Good morning.
Good
I know
morning.
this is my first time meeting you on live.
I love it.
Yeah,
What
thank.
question?
Yeah, I do have a question. I just started doing the reselling,
Mhm.
and I started selling on Whatnot just of a recent. So I'm finding it very difficult sourcing for Whatnot. Like it's like sourcing for Whatnot is very difficult. Like you have to get items very cheap to be able to sell. That is my big problem right now,
Yep.
sourcing for Whatnot.
So is
So
your
I don't
question
know.
you have questions about sourcing?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a really good question. Here, let's look. Um, let's look together. You want to source for whatnot. So let's look at what category?
Clothing,
All right.
clothing and shoes, or with kids.
So let's look. Keynes is one of the top reselling brands, right? Now think about this. They have one of the top reselling brands, and they still only have 16 people in here, and they paid sponsored for a premium placement. That's how hard it is. They have literally new with tags, one of the best brands. They still only have 16 people in here. Versus this brand, this company, Bundle, and Smart Threads. These are two big sellers. You can see they have a good amount of people in here. And Circle City and me, these four streams are all big time sellers. There's a lot of volume moving through these. And
Mhm.
all four of these are all brand new overstock. Because this is the I don't know where this lady is getting her stuff, but like if you look through here and seeing what streams have the most people, this is also she bought a truck of Halara, but mainly whatnot. So it in the women's category is mostly new and closeouts. So you would want to start looking at locally what area you're in and what opportunities you can find for bulk clothing. On whatnot, it's really hard because you have to be able to sell stuff cheap a long time. Because if you pop up and you have a short show, there's not enough time to get people to come in.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into making it engaging for a long period of time. But I would say, what state do you live in?
I'm in Pennsylvania. In
Pennsylvania.
PA. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're in PA, there's almost all of the stuff is in New Jersey.
Okay.
So you're not far. New Jersey is the hub for all new clothing. on the East Coast.
Yeah, do you have like a list on the Circle app where we can like some of the um reseller like those people sell in bulk or in pallets or in truckloads that we can look for?
The best way to start is um, in let's see, if I lived in Pennsylvania, how would I start? I'd probably go to New York City to the Fashion District on 32nd Street,
Uh-huh.
start meeting some people there that have an idea of where that stuff goes when it doesn't sell. So in New York, they have sample shops that sample all the different designs for that season. When they're done sampling it, they throw those items away.
Wow.
Somebody takes those items and either resells them or they go to a warehouse somewhere. And those are the same people who control all of the supply in New Jersey and New York City, and a lot of them live in PA. Jomar was one of the biggest wholesaling companies. It was in PA.
Wow.
So that's where it is there. Here is also one in LA, not near me, but 6 hours from me south in Los Angeles has the same thing. So the way fashion works is New Jersey and LA, they come out with all the new styles,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then whatever that works well in the test run gets made into stuff they produce for everybody. Then when it doesn't sell, it goes back to those warehouses to get liquidated. That's how clothing works.
Okay.
So to get into that bulk buying, you just need to meet the people who are in that area because it's really hard. You can't cold call.
Finding them is difficult, like to
You
know,
can't
like,
call them. You got to meet them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
also, they're all assholes. So it's better to go and meet the people who actually run the shops because they would
Mm-hmm.
much rather work with you than them.
Okay.
But that's all there is to it. It's a very old school business. There's not like a, oh, well, I guess there is a website. You can go to liquidation.com or bulk.com, liquidation.com, bulk.com, bstock.com. These are the same, they do the same thing, but
Okay. Yeah.
one step further.
I think when I was I was googling some of those liquidation places. I saw on that one, those ones, but the type of inventory that I'm looking for, like for instance, the free people, you hardly see it on there. You will not see it. You will mostly see like general massages. You will see like shoes or some other stuff from Target. But if you're looking for like for free people, Revolve, MyDoga, you will hardly see it from their website. So very difficult.
Revolve is actually liquidated through B stock, but Free People is not. Free People is liquidated through relationships. It's really it's like that interview that I did with Katie Co.
Mm-hmm.
She basically tracked down all the like 30 people in the United States that control that, um, just one piece at a time. It's like it's kind of hard, but you can do it. But even for her, it's hard to get. Like they like to sell to TJ Maxx.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
harder. You can.
it's
It's
hard.
just like the free people that I have gotten is all damaged. I've never gotten free people that's not damaged ever. It's so hard, and I try a lot. So don't be discouraged. It just takes a long time.
Okay.
I'm on the lowest free people buying power person. I can buy like maybe 5,000 pieces of free people a year, and it's all broken.
Broken.
Like the worst,
Like
like
even like in
slash.
McDougal, like the McDougal, most I see most are damaged. I see they put like the blue sticker to show that most a lot of them are also damaged. But finding those ones are very difficult.
It's very difficult,
But
but it's
that's my
it
main problem now.
yeah, it's interesting. It's like I don't know the best way to approach other than all I know is that all the people that I buy from I've met. I didn't get any of them online.
Online.
It's
Yeah.
just like a not they don't respond. They're like insanely the only all of the people that I
You crash
have
my back, I crash us
uh,
back stuff like, you
yeah,
know me, I know you kind
yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, but
Okay.
as long as you have a good personality on whatnot, you'll eventually find them.
I have asked, nobody even accept like I don't know. Like they won't even tell you where they get it from. So that is the biggest challenge on Whatnot.
No,
Trust
it's
me.
hard.
Nobody will tell you where they get it
No
from.
one's gonna tell you,
Nobody.
but they will tell you how they did it. And everybody does it the same way. They just meet someone in that area. There are around 20 conferences a year, like the Magic Conference in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
All of the vendors go there. So you just have to go meet someone and they like you, and then you become.
Okay. I've wanted to attend those conferences, but I'm like, maybe it won't worth it. Like it's for the big fish. Like I'm like, okay, it may be waste of time.
Maybe, but that's where like um I mean I still feel like a really small fish because I only get most people don't call me back,
Wow.
you know?
Wow.
They don't care. It's not they're looking for big deals and they're looking for recurring deals. So actually I can give you one piece of advice before we go to Jamie. The suppliers are more interested in recurring than size. So you can get a deal with a supplier if you order like 3 pallets a week forever.
Yeah.
That's more impressive to them than let me get a truck and I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
So as you start, because what will happen is what I am is I'm the leftovers buyer for free people. So whatever was run over by a truck and it's in the corner and you know a dog slept there, that's like what's left, and they'll call me and be like, "Do you want that?"
Hmm.
But it just takes some time to move up the chain. I would love to sell only free people. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
Um, actually, I don't even. There's not one person on Whatnot that has that contract. Sometimes they get it, but only a little bit. They don't get a lot.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody consistently sell free people on Whatnot. It's too hard to
Yeah,
get.
there is no one. But with MacDougall, yes, Revolve, yes. But with free people, uh
But McDougal is gonna run out.
and it's running very cheap now. At first, it was like high prices, but
Yeah.
now it's running very cheap. Like a dress of 400, 300 is going for $40, $30. I'm like, it's going very cheap.
That's because they flooded the market with that. But the same thing would happen to free people, and that's why they don't do that.
Wow.
They would rather cut it than give it to you and let you sell it for $30 or whatnot. They don't want that. So like anyway, it's very interesting. It's a really good question. I'm glad that you asked that. But supply is hard. No one's ever going to tell you who they buy from.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever going to introduce you. But the it doesn't mean that they won't work with you because I feel like I don't know. I don't. That's why I kind of think that part of reselling is luck because like some of the suppliers that I have met has been luck. Because okay, I'll give you one more hint. All of the companies they have people that they work with called jobbers. Okay,
Okay.
jobbers are on a magic email list. Okay, and the email list will give them all the deals like this company is selling this company is selling this company is selling this. The best deals are the ones that nobody wants, but you've done your homework.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody wants free people, but free people to me sucks because it's so saturated, so hard to get. I like selling brands like I'll give you a brand. You ready?
Yeah.
I'll give you a brand. Here it is. Clara G. This brand is a sleeper brand. So you can okay, so there's 2100 available. The reselling price is really good. I don't know what happened here. wow, this person got destroyed. But that it's really good because we're talking about like average sale price is definitely at least 100 normally. These shoes are really nice, right?
Yeah.
This is a brand that nobody cares about that you could get lucky with buying. Because if you did your homework, this brand, Clergery, no one has heard of it. Maybe Brian has heard of it, right? But this is one of the examples of what you would want to find from these people that don't care because they're moving free people. They're moving the big brands. The little brands, they don't care because it's not as much money. But if they know you and you're like, I'll take shoes, especially weird ones, they might call you and you can start there. If you look at what I sell, it's all stuff that it's like forgotten, right? And
Yeah.
it gives you a better chance. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much.
Yep. Jamie?
Okay, yep, I'm here. I want to go back to that 6,000 a month for 6 years because I want to show I want people to understand the other side of that. So if you put $6,000 away, or if you save $6,000 a month for 6 years and had $1,000,000, right? I want everybody to think. I want you to think about this. If you took that $1,000,000 and you put it in an account that paid you 5% interest, with $1,000,000 balance, you could definitely get 5%. And you let it sit for 5 years, that account at the end of those 5 years would generate $6,000 worth of income to you for 533 months, 44 and a half years. So if you're broke today, in 11 years, if you put $6,000 away a month for 5 years and or 6 years and let it sit for 5 years, you can have $6,000 worth of income that will last you 44 and a half years. Is that not absolutely amazing?
It's amazing. I know. But it's also not sexy.
That's real sexy to me.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently not sexy enough. So something because like how come when I was younger it wasn't sexy? Now it's sexy, but I'm geriatric. How come when I was younger it wasn't sexy? I think it needs to be more snarky than that. Like $6,000 residual income for 44 years. That didn't appeal to me in my 20s. Like, because think about this. That means if you're 20 years old, by the time you're 31, you don't have to work for 44 years and get $6,000 a month. That's insane. And the Dave Ramsey baby steps takes 10 and a half years. It's exactly what you just said. It takes 10 and a half years to do it. When I started, my boss said, Chris, I wish 10 years of misfortune upon you so you become a good entrepreneur. I hope you suck for 10 more years. Then you'll be awesome. And that was 10 years and 2 months ago. And for 10 years and 2 months, I've been driving an old car. So this is it. But I'm just thinking like this is it. This is reselling at a high level for regular resellers. Used stuff that sells for $172 and at Goodwill, they don't have no idea what this is. Like, why? What's so great about these? This is garbage. Goodwill, you might find these at the bins for $2. This person has 14 feedback. They just started. Right? The bulk model that Atemba was asking about, that is like so freaking hard compared to just finding simple stuff. My old boss that told me to quit, he just invented a neck pillow. I have to share this with you guys before I leave. It's so stupid. But I mean, he's worth a lot of money, so maybe he's not stupid. But I have to share this with you guys. Oh my God. It's intense. Okay. He spent $100,000 developing this. You guys ready? Everybody sitting down? There we go. This is his new thing. This neck pillow that allows you to sleep.
I have seen these on planes. They are so ridiculous.
um,
How can anybody sleep like that? That doesn't seem like that doesn't seem accurate at all.
I don't know, but like he sells them for $200. I don't know. It's crazy to me. Is that more comfortable than leaning back?
Be better
Well-
than ending up slobbering on the odd guy next to you, leaning on his shoulder.
Chris, somebody brought me a cushion one. My nephew brought me a cushion one that sits up and you put your head, you lean forward. It's like it's a plastic thing. And then you can put your phone down. You were looking through the hole, you can put your phone down in it. So I found it uncomfortable to lean over. So that I can see because I don't have to lean over. It doesn't affect my back. I wouldn't pay no $200, but I would definitely, it looks stupid, but I would use it because some of them long flights is long.
I know.
So
The best ones I've seen, they're wedges, and they like wedge onto your chest, and they hold your face down. But the cool thing is they got a little pocket. You can slide your phone in their landscape, so like you watch a movie, and it's right up next to your face. Those are really cool.
yeah, that's kind of like the one it sits down, but I would rather it up to my chest because it would be easier than leaning over. Yeah, you can go out and pay for first class and business if you want. I ain't got it like that.
$200 is a lot cheaper than the first class ticket, though.
Right?
Oh,
What?
Your face so you can watch something. No, it's literally for sleeping. I should actually buy one. Before I hate it, I should try it. Maybe it's killer.
You should.
Because I was like, you're worth $100 million. This is what you do with your time. This pillow. And he's like, yeah, I love it. It's like, okay, all right, I love it too.
If somebody sat next to me lugging that thing onto an airplane, I'd be sure to get their armrest because I deserve their armrest if they sit like that next to me.
It's just a wild thing. Oh, I also want to show you guys before we go. This Robert Clergy shoe. Like this person just started, but I actually think this is an excellent presentation. Like they have good quality photos, all the different angles, right? Nothing fancy. They don't even have a photo table, right? Tons of pictures. They show the soles, they show the insides, right?
Chris, so what does the rest of their store look like? When I find stuff like this, I always go into the rest of their store to see what other items they have.
Nice. So this lady probably thrifted these because they're similar sizes. Here, this is a perfect store that would work. 100% this store works. Only great items. So good. The store is so good. I don't know why these are 28 though. But everything else. Let's look at their sell-through rate. They have 61 items. 11 sold. So they're really trying to smash people on prices, but the store is fine. It's profitable. Look at their prices. See, they slipped a little bit. Unless they owned these, why did they pick these up?
That store to me seems like it might be somebody that's just cleaning stuff out of their house.
You think so?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. But it doesn't look like all the same stuff that one family would own.
These are the same size. This is the same size. Well, I mean, I guess these Uggs are different size. No, I don't think so. I don't think this is. I think this is a reseller. Do you think this is a reseller or somebody cleaning out their closet?
When you first seen this, all the sizes the same, yeah. But now that there's so many different sizes, it's a reseller, I think.
Are there that many different sizes, or are there just two, like two shoe sizes and pretty much two
Oh,
clothes?
look, there's all kind of. He's been going through it. There's all kind of sizes.
I'm not good in, especially women's clothing sizes, so I don't really know. But
Yeah, you don't have a woman size 22 and a size 10.
Or
They're-
4.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a reseller.
But this store is great. 61 items in their store. It's small, so they probably have what's their
I've found a lot of brands by doing this. When you find something that's a high seller and then you research their store
yeah.
and try to find their location
yeah, that's
and
what I
figure out where
was.
they're at.
When you go to their about, where does it say they're from or shipped from? Their products.
Denver. No returns. That's fine. I think this store is really good. I wish more people had this store. This is like so straightforward. They have this one sale every couple of days. They never list, but it says all good items.
That
Maybe
looks like Dana's store. Dana's very selective in what she does, and she goes for high-end items, and she's just very selective in what she gets out there, and she's successful.
I think this store would work. It's so much easier than what so many other resellers do. And it's not impossible that she got all of these items at the bins. This is a reseller. This is so random.